The Mi 10i and the OnePlus Nord are the most affordable 5G smartphones in India. Now both these smartphones offer impressive specifications for the price, and these are priced under 30,000 rupees, which makes it a little hard to pick between the two. So today I am going to compare the Mi 10i with the OnePlus Nord to tell you which one is better suited for your needs. Now after watching this video, if you have made a decision, well, slide into the comments and let us know that. I'll love to read that. Hello everyone, I'm Aditya, you're watching Gadgets 360, and here's a quick comparison between the Xiaomi Mi 10i and the OnePlus Nord. Let's start with the Xiaomi Mi 10i first. The Mi 10i sports a big 6.67-inch Full HD Plus LCD display with a hole punch right in the center for the selfie camera. The OnePlus Nord, on the other hand, is slimmer, lighter, and has a slightly smaller display measuring just 6.44 inches. The OnePlus Nord has an in-display fingerprint scanner, while the Xiaomi Mi 10i has a side-mounted capacitive fingerprint scanner, and I found both to be equally quick to scan your fingers and unlock the device. You have an option to tweak the output on both displays, and when set at 120Hz, the Xiaomi Mi 10i appears smoother when comparing them side by side. I found the display on the OnePlus Nord to be better as it had deep blacks and the contrast levels were higher than the Mi 10i. Both smartphones have fairly loud speakers, but the one on the OnePlus Nord sounds marginally better. So would you prefer a 90Hz AMOLED display or a 120Hz LCD panel? Well, do let us know that in the comments. You'll find a USB Type-C port on both these smartphones, but only the Mi 10i has a 3.5mm headphone jack and an IR blaster. The Mi 10i is also IP53 rated for dust and water resistance, which isn't very common at this price point. Now let's talk about software. This is where the OnePlus gains a lot of brownie points. Its interface is clean compared to MIUI, and you don't have an issue with ads. While both UIs are easy to use, Xiaomi felt more intrusive with its spammy notifications. If you want to get rid of spam from Xiaomi smartphones, well, we have a video where we'll inform you step by step how to do that. Do check that out. And while you're at it, be sure you are subscribed to the Gadgets 360 YouTube channel and click on that bell icon so that you know whenever we drop a fresh video. Coming back to the comparison, OnePlus promises 2 years of software updates and 3 years of security updates with the Nord. Now, Xiaomi does not promise software updates, but its track record isn't very promising either. The company is known to update the version of MIUI while the underlying version of Android remains the same. So if you'd like to be up to date in terms of software updates, you'll be better off with the OnePlus Nord. Now delving deeper into the performance side of things, the OnePlus Nord and the Mi 10i both have powerful processors, and you won't find any issues with them when it comes to regular use. Now when it comes to benchmarks, the Nord is ahead in all of our tests, but the Mi 10i isn't far behind. You get decent battery life on both these smartphones, and you should be able to go beyond a day without any issues. Now thanks to the bigger battery, the Mi 10i should be able to outclass the OnePlus Nord. You get fast charging support on both these smartphones, and both take about an hour to charge. If you want to know more about charging tech and batteries, well, my colleague Shobham has made a video on it in Elemental. Do check that out, it's some interesting stuff right there. The OnePlus Nord and the Mi 10i both have quad cameras, but their approach is entirely different. OnePlus Nord houses a 48-megapixel primary sensor with optical stabilization, an 8-megapixel ultra-wide-angle camera, a 2-megapixel macro camera, and a 5-megapixel depth sensor. On the Mi 10i, you get a 108-megapixel primary camera, an 8-megapixel ultra-wide-angle camera, a 2-megapixel macro camera, and a 2-megapixel depth sensor. Let's compare the primary cameras on both these smartphones first. In daylight, both phones are quick to detect the scene and meter light accordingly. The Xiaomi tends to be aggressive with sharpening and the exposure wasn't always right. OnePlus Nord, on the other hand, managed shots much better with the right exposure, helping it look natural. For wide-angle shots, I noticed barrel distortion at the edges in both outputs. OnePlus Nord offers slightly better dynamic range and more detail in wide-angle shots. I was curious to see if the 108 megapixel camera would give the Mi 10i an edge when it comes to full resolution shots. So I clicked a few photos with the OnePlus Nord set to 48 megapixels and the Mi 10i set to 108 megapixels resolution. The Mi 10i managed better details than the OnePlus Nord and text at a distance was legible. Now the OnePlus Nord took the top spot for close-ups thanks to the sharper focus and better edge detection. The output from the Mi 10i looked dull in comparison. For macro shots, the Mi 10i managed to capture more light and better details. Both phones managed good portraits, and I noticed that the Nord does not detect objects very quickly but does detect people and pets faster. It also does not let you set the level of blur before taking the shot. The Mi 10i, on the other hand, can detect objects and lets you set the level of blur before you take the shot. In low light, the shot from the Mi 10i appears good as is, but it's the OnePlus Nord that offers better details. With night mode enabled, these phones had a slightly different color tone in the output, and while the Mi 10i looked better, it was the OnePlus Nord that was closer to the actual scene. Xiaomi has also sharpened the image here, which caused a loss in details. Video recording tops out at 4K 30 FPS for both these smartphones for the primary cameras. Footage shot at 1080p was stabilized on both phones quite well, but 4K footage was better stabilized on the OnePlus Nord. A video shot in low light had a visible shimmer effect on both these smartphones, but it was kept under control on the OnePlus Nord. For selfies, the OnePlus has a dual camera setup consisting of a 32 megapixel primary camera and an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle camera. The Mi 10i, on the other hand, has a single 16 megapixel selfie camera. For selfies, the OnePlus has the edge thanks to the bigger sensor. The selfies from the OnePlus were brighter and were well detailed. Both phones let you capture portrait selfies and managed good edge detection. But it was the OnePlus Nord that managed a better, brighter image. Low light selfies were better on the Mi 10i since the output had better exposure and better details. Now it's time to pick a winner. Well, money no bar, if you have to absolutely pick one, it's the OnePlus Nord because it offers better performance, it has better cameras, and OnePlus has a very good track record when it comes to software updates. But the Mi 10i is not far behind, and it's worth considering if you have a strict budget that you want to stick to. So that was our comparison between these two smartphones. So which one would you pick? Let us know that in the comments down below. And as always, for all things tech, stay tuned to gadgets360.com.